we can find a campsite close to this, that would be awesome. It looks like this is a water crossing, definitely the most significant water crossing that I have seen.
I'm just going to, however you want to film it, just gonna nose into it and kind of watch the hubs and see how deep we get.
Wyoming. Wide open spaces. This country is vast and untamed, home to unparalleled mountain vistas, peaceful rivers in every valley, and an abundance of wildlife. But to truly experience it, like few have, you have to go off the beaten path and immerse yourself in this expanse of wilderness. And that's exactly what we intend to do on a 5-day expedition into the Wind River and Wyoming mountain ranges, a trip 18 months in the making.
So we are in Kemmerer, Wyoming, and that is basically our jumping off point where we're gonna hit dirt here just north of town. We got a full tank of gas. We got some nice rolling foothill type things. The sun's going down. We're gonna get golden out here. It's gonna be a good evening. What do you think?
What's our thought?
Well,
Barely 10 miles off the pavement, we've already encountered our first obstacle.
So it looks like this is a water crossing, definitely the most significant water crossing that I have seen. It's beautiful. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful area. If we can find a campsite close to this, that would be awesome. But I think for right now, we're just gonna scout it out, see how deep the water goes.
however you want to film it. If you want to get up top and film it with a drone, I'm just gonna nose into it and kind of watch the hubs and see how deep we get.
Okay. I'm worried about it being deeper out in the middle than what we think. Oh my word. Wow.
Not gonna lie, that's pretty cool, y'all.
Oh, that's scary but fun.
Here's a little pull out.
Yeah, here's a little thing.
Do we like it?
Oh, thank you, Jesus. This is beautiful.
It's pretty good. Well, we're looking for camp, and this looks like a prime camp. We got the river right here, which is just great. We'll have a nice sunrise. We got the aspens, and we're pretty much getting ready for, we're ready for camp. So we've had an awesome road in here so far. Nothing technical, but just super backcountry epic. We're so tickled. And this camp's got a fire ring, got the river. This looks pretty good. So how do we want to set this up?
The first camp is always interesting. As the temperatures fall with the setting sun, I'm having to remind myself why I enjoy this kind of thing. Hopefully getting the first night behind us will get the outdoor juices flowing. For Isaac, they're never far below the surface.
Yeah, so I did see a cow moose up the stream here. It was upwind of me, so didn't know exactly what I was.
He has a passion for the outdoors, matched only by his desire to experience it with the people who mean the most to him. Honestly, he's the reason trips like this even happen for us, as he brings the vehicle, the navigation, and the woodsman expertise to make it possible.
It's been a long time since I was on a trail that I was absolutely unfamiliar with. We really don't know what to expect. We have some information about it. There's just going to be a lot of unknown. And that's what excites me. It also is what intimidates me. It's kind of can't have one without the other.
His wife Katie brings to the table a passion for cooking and bringing people together through food. And even though the outdoors isn't something she gravitates toward, she's come a long way in the years of marriage to a mountain enthusiast, to the point that this trip was actually her idea.
So it's amazing to me to be here. If you had told the younger version of me, especially college-aged me, before you finish your degree, you're gonna marry the love of your life and you're gonna go on incredible adventures, I would have laughed in your face. Because A, I didn't think I was gonna get married, and B, I was not looking for incredible adventures. So the fact that I am here in this gorgeous place that I never would have dreamed to come to, ooh, that was a good flip. I love that that's my story. I love that I'm here. I love that I've gotten to the point where I embrace this, and this is fun to me.
It's kind of a cool angle. And that brings us to myself, Levi, your intrepid narrator on this story, and an enthusiastic filmmaker with aspirations to make this my best film to date. We settle in for a peaceful first evening at camp. Tomorrow, we'll meet up with 2 additional participants for the first chapter of this adventure.
While we were planning this trip, we knew we wanted to include other people. And whether they could come for the whole trip or just part of it, that family time and fellowship is so important to us, and that's what makes these trips for us. I mean, you could come out in the beauty, but what is that unless you're with people that you love and want to make memories with? So I was so excited when my in-laws, Isaac's parents, also Levi's parents, decided to join us for a portion of the trail. There's a potential for them to do part of the trail with us and maybe even have a camp supper with us. And then they're gonna split off and they're gonna do their own version of exploring, maybe not on back roads. I'm super excited for that. That we get to share a portion of this trip with them is super special.
So we're at first camp here, first day. Essentially, we're starting down by Rock Springs area. We came up to this first camp. We're gonna take 2 days and explore the Wyoming range portion, end up in Pindale, and then take 2 days and explore north of Pindale up in the Wind River range. So this first day, we're gonna meet up with my mom and dad. They're gonna ride along with us for the day in their vehicle, which is super cool, super excited for that. And then see where the day takes us. We're gonna find a camp for the night, hopefully a little earlier than last night, and settle in for a nice evening. So far leading up to this first camp, it has just been super, super spectacular. Nothing like what we expected. I had no way of knowing. We're coming up from Rock Springs. As soon as we got off pavement, it was like, whoa, this is gonna be super cool.
So we are just like super stoked about this. Like we're almost to the camp. We are just like, the terrain is just gorgeous. This is just epic. We're so tickled.
It's beautiful. Oh my gosh.
It was pretty awesome.
And I am super excited.
I was earlier. I mean, now I'm yeah. I'm like super stoked to get this thing going. You know what I'm saying? I'm about ready to just pack everything up. But yeah, let's get on the trail. Let's hit it. Let's go.
Look at that.
Oh, this is so fantastic, you guys.
So we're coming up to our rendezvous point with our partners in crime, the parents. We are going to do a little collab and see where we want to go, but we're right on time and everybody made it. So yeah.
We compare notes and find that Mom and Dad's first brush with the Wyoming wilderness has already proven inspirational.
had a moment.
Whoa! You're sitting on top of that pole. Ultimately, we're going to be going out this way and up that way, but there's campsites all along there, and this blue route and this green route are maintained where you guys could get out easily. There's Big Piney. You can get out that way down. You can get out this. I want to hit at least one of these offshoots because I think that's where we're going to find at least some off-road opportunity.
Alrighty, so we have met up with Mom and Dad. We are making our way north on the route, and we're gonna see what we can see today.
Sounds good. Let's see what we find. I grew up in the mountains, so being in these kinds of situations is pretty familiar. If we wanted to go camping or backpacking, we just put stuff in our pack and started walking. And anything off-road had to do with getting the job done or a place that we had to get to because of some other reason. So to do overlanding as a defined activity, never did that, and we were really enjoying it. We had the opportunity to be included in this trip.
It was kind of a spontaneous moment when Isaac threw out the question or statement, hey, you know what, just a couple of modifications on the expedition and you could come with us, at least for part of the way. And I think probably the way to say it is that if this situation had not been put in place and that we were given the opportunity to include ourselves, this is not something that we would have done together, just the two of us, or it wouldn't have been in our plan. So the experience with the people is priority, and when we go around every corner and you go, oh my, wow, you know, we wouldn't have known what we were missing.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. It makes me cry. We're really blessed and grateful to be here and be a part of it.
Look at this. I mean, we were just like, hey, let's try to find a little offshoot for lunch. And we pull off, and first of all, we start seeing like the mountains. And this little sheltered place in the sun for lunch doesn't get any better than that. That was a beat.
My outdoor enthusiasm has finally kicked into high gear as we crested the hill and caught sight of this rugged ridge of the Wyoming range.
Are you kidding me? Look at this. Make our way out and get
We are having meatballs and spaghetti and garlic bread. So we only have 2 burners, so I'm preparing the stuff that can stay hot better in the pots, and then I'm gonna do the garlic bread because that's gonna go pretty fast, and then we're gonna eat.
As lunch is coming together, Dad and Isaac begin discussing our route for this afternoon and the rest of the trip.
If we knew where we had signal, that would be really cool.
Yeah, it's the communication about where we're meeting. That's the challenge.
And again, having my dad along it means the world to me. He's a huge support when it comes to just kind of a good gut check on some common sense. That would just be us. We'd come to the gap, and maybe we could meet you at the gap. Because that's really pretty.
That's a beautiful
really pretty.
area. It
like
is such
even
a
more than
beautiful area.
that. Well, it's those mountains, and there's a gap that goes through them.
Oh, okay.
So we found this awesome lunch spot, and it just great. It's awesome. And I think what we decided is we're not really gonna find that much better like camping spot for the night. It's got forest, it's got a view, it's just spectacular. And we have a little trail, a little loop trail that goes a few miles, about 10 miles here, continuing on. So for this afternoon, we're gonna stay with the folks and do this trail. Hopefully that gets them back on their way by 4-ish to get back to their hotel for the night. And then we're gonna come back here and stay the night. Tomorrow, we'll head on north, and the plan is to meet at the McDougal Gap by noon. And hopefully that happens. If it doesn't, we'll make the best of it. This is the way trips like these go, as far as we never have an actual, you can't have a solid plan unless you've actually driven the route before and you know how long it's gonna take. So we never have a true solid plan, and we kind of navigate it as we go and go the direction that the weather vane takes us. I think it's gonna be awesome. Probably ought to go through it, you think?
Pretty cool. Let's see what Dad's line is. What is he gonna do, you think? Go through it or what?
Didn't even spin the wheels. Well, that was a ton of fun, guys. It was awesome traveling with you. So I guess we'll probably check out, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at the McDougal Gap.
So we have left Mom and Dad behind. They're going back to their hotel in Marbleton, and we are going to be settling in for a more leisurely night at camp than last night. We're getting in like at 3 o'clock, so plenty of time just to relax and do camp things in a really, I mean, unparalleled in terms of places that we've camped location. And we may have even greater campsites on this trip yet to come. We shall see.
This is just like a good spot. I mean, it just feels like home. Somehow, nice soft places to
Meanwhile, on the struggle bus.
Here it is. So the tailgate kind of has a little bit of a...
Got a quirk.
let's see if I can do it. I think so there's a trick.
Alright, so
You pull,
Yep.
and then you gotta lift a little bit.
no,
Gotta push in a little bit.
this is gonna go up farther.
Okay, so I feel like I'm gonna break it.
I
But
know.
there it is. Okay.
So basically you pull until you feel like you're gonna break.
But I feel like it's on the left side more than the right side. You gotta
Okay.
pull.
Okay.
And then you feel it. And then you,
Ah! There it goes.
maybe? I'm not
Yes.
sure if the push was essential or not, but
I'll take it.
so when we were stopped here at this campsite for lunch, Dad looked across and saw this old dead tree with a boulder on top that he thought was pretty interesting, and he wanted us to check it out and see what may have befallen this tree. Is there a tag on it? It's not a rock. What?
It's a big. Oh. What? The? What? It's like a big bean bag. It's rather disgusting, honestly.
I no longer find it so fascinating.
I gotta say, from a distance, it was adventurous out there. When you get up close, you're like, people are vermin. I want to go back to camp.
Pretty much.
getting into the trees was
That's a good breakfast. So we turned off on this offshoot. It parallels the Grays River Road. So this road will spit us back out on the Grays River Road here in a little bit, and then we're going to continue on to McDougal Gap. I'm sure there's some history about it, but it's basically
the road between two very large, very majestic mountains.
Yeah, so it's really the only route. I'm sure a man named McDougal found it. It's the only road that actually crosses the Wyoming range. At least that first layer of it anyway.
During a vacation in Wyoming last year, Isaac and Katie drove this McDougal Gap road. But in the overcast conditions, they didn't get to see much of the view. Today, our skies are clear, but there's a different kind of cloud hanging over us.
So four-wheel drive isn't working, Isaac?
Not right now. So that's kind of an X factor. A couple of different things it could be, and I think I have some thoughts on what to do to fix it. The little actuators can malfunction and need to be removed and kind of limbered up a little bit. This little piece of road really should be the only section that we would even possibly want four-wheel drive for today, I would guess. And we're doing okay. It's just having to ride the brakes way more than I'd want to without low range.
An equipment malfunction can turn what would have otherwise been a straightforward path into a sketchy undertaking that challenges our skills.
I think it was better that I was on the outside of the vehicle because I get nervous on stuff like that, but he did good.
We make it back safely to the more maintained Grays River Road. But Isaac is definitely going to dig into the four-wheel drive system as soon as possible. For now, though, the road ahead looks clear, and we are entering the most epic landscape we've encountered thus far as we make our way toward our rendezvous with Mom and Dad.
it to the turnoff point towards the McDougal Gap. Behind me over here is the Wyoming range. That's what the gap crosses. So we're gonna meet Mom and Dad at the gap. We've got about an hour till our time. We said we'd meet there, so hopefully we'll make it there on time. Just in gorgeous, gorgeous scenery. We stopped here to fill up our non-potable water source for hand washing, because we're going to start making our way away from, well, gradually away from some of the rivers. So.
So we are in the midst of the McDougal Gap, which anything that was said about it was true. This is amazing. This is awesome. And we are stopping here for lunch, where Mom and Dad are going to come and meet us. Lord willing, they will be able to find us here at this rendezvous. So they aren't here yet, but we're a little bit early.
We're at the pin location we dropped on the map yesterday. But with no cell service, we just have to hope that Mom and Dad are still on track to be here. At least until they get close enough for a radio transmission to get through.
Loud and clear.
They made it!
It's hard to put into words the emotions of meeting up with your compatriots at a lonely spot on a deserted forest road. Even though we were together just yesterday, reuniting with friendly faces in contrast with this stark wilderness is enough to remind you not to take for granted the people and relationships you have in your life. Another flawless rendezvous completed, we joined forces to finish the day's trails and set our course for tonight's destination, which, from what I hear, is supposed to be much less rustic accommodations. But to get there, we have in front of us what can only be described as a very Wyoming drive.
Look at that. The Wind River range here. We've been in the Wyoming range, and this is the Wind River range where the second half of our overlanding trip is going to take place. Right over there is a little town called Pindale, where there is a really nice bed and breakfast that Isaac and Katie have stayed at before, and they wanted to come back and take Mom and Dad and I to there as well. So all of us are going to be staying there just tonight. Tomorrow we've got a really nice hike planned. From there, me and Isaac and Katie are going to break paths with Mom and Dad we're gonna go on and continue overlanding in the mountains and finish out what's already been the most epic overlanding trip.
So today is the last day that we'll be doing off-road trails with my sweet in-laws. I have learned so much from them just in the short time that I've been married into the family, but something that I really appreciate about them is how they've supported their children in their interests.
So we are taking the morning here and hiking a little trail in the Wind River range. And this is gonna be our last little outing with Mom and Dad. This is, by all accounts, an absolutely gorgeous trail, gorgeous vista at the end, Sacred Rim Trail.
My off-roading journey started with my dad. The first little bit we did was in the expedition, which was very tame, but it really gave me a taste for that. And it just kind of brings a full circle to be able to come back and do some trails together. The experience isn't really as much about the experiences who you're sharing it with. I mean, being able to share those experiences together is really meaningful, and this has just been great. From my mom's side of it, I think she pretty much supported me in just letting me do it, being willing to let me go and explore. One of the things I did for her in return, actually, before we did, it was our first major off-roading trip in Colorado, is I got a Garmin GPS communicator, just so where we were able to check in and let her know that everything was okay. But it still took a lot of willingness on her part to let us go and do that. And for her to be along on one of these trips is pretty cool as well. I really enjoy that.
They got to see the fruition of their hard work, feeding the interests of their kids. And with Isaac, it was off-roading. With Levi, it was editing and cameras, and they got to see the knowledge base that their sons have. And they got to enjoy that. They got to enjoy that with all of us. And that's really special to me. I don't think many parents get to experience that. Yes! And that really inspires me with my kids someday. That's what I want to do. I want to feed my kids inspirations. I want to feed their creativity. I want to foster that. And someday, if I'm as lucky as them, I'll get to see my kids doing the things that Isaac and I made happen for them and fed that in them. I love that that's the legacy that they've left for us.
Really glad to have this time with our kids. If it never happens again, this is a treasure, something that we will all share. To share something like this as a family, it's a diamond that we can hang on to forever.
Our trek alongside Mom and Dad has come to a close. But in truth, we're still just scratching the surface of what the Wyoming wilderness has to offer. So tune in for episode 2 as we push into the wild in the Wind River Range.
If we don't make it through this road by dark, then we need to turn around and go back.